begin? Well, I know it's not actually important. I'd like to know if there was some explanation for what save points do in-universe for Samus. It's just one of those things that mechanically can be literally anything, but their choice of what a save point generally looks like, it leaves me wondering how this benefits Samus, not just the player, especially since this is another game where the save points do not replenish our health and ammo at any point in our journey. Okay, so the only enemies in here provide light for us to be able to see the various platforms we need to land on. Interesting gimmick. Wonder how many other hallways we're gonna see use that. Bit of a shame that the map doesn't tell us if that dot that we've explored is a map room, a missile reload room, or a picked up upgrade. But hey, this was the first game in the series to have a map for the player to look at, and we don't have to worry about the map screen being cluttered by too much information because there's too much going on in a given area. Sure, I'd like more information, but getting bare bones basic stuff is fine, especially when they don't make things especially convoluted. And I really hope that me shitting on the 3DS game isn't going to continue on in this game beyond this point. Kinda surprised we managed to avoid getting hurt in that encounter. Well, I wouldn't say it would make me feel like a badass. It certainly was satisfying. Especially after the awkward bit of bumping into those light-producing creatures in the previous hall. I may not be all that good at precision jumping, but in combat I can certainly hold my own. Not to the extreme point of being able to give Ridley trouble even at the start of the game, but enough to get by. Okay, so we're going to need the speed booster for that one too. I somehow doubt I'm going to remember to come back to this hallway for that later on. Just like I doubt I'll remember that spot where we apparently need a super bomb in order to go further down. We've got plenty of ground to explore, so no risk of me getting especially frustrated by the various barriers anytime soon, though. Yeah, those jumping bastards are definitely a pain, and partly because gravity clearly works different for them. How often do you see things jump downwards and fall back up? Of course, I'm sure we might have seen some enemies do that in the Game Boy Advance titles as well, though I don't really remember them that well. It's not like the standard enemies we deal with are generally all that interesting to take down. Hell, a good number of them are about as throwaway as you can get, but for some reason in this game, they seem to be having a bit more of an impact, and I'm not sure why. Okay, what the hell? Wait, this non-boss has two forms? Great, now I'm starting to wish we had the precision aiming that the 3DS game gave us. Those things are just not pleasant to deal with. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but the little dots on the minimap can mean upgrades, missile replenishment stations, and bosses! Granted, this isn't an especially difficult boss fight to deal with. It's thankfully one of the few that can let us get back in better shape in a hurry than we started it off in. Still, I should not have felt so damn surprised entering this room, then being locked in here with it. And based on the color of the door beneath us, are we really going to be getting the super missile this early? Definitely took me longer than it probably should have to get that first shot on the bloody plant. At least the second one was easy to manage since it opened up a little bit lower. There's really not much to this fight, just avoid getting touched by the pollen or the big swinging bulb, then shoot a missile into the open thing. We only have time for one missile in there due to our slow firing rate, but at least I don't have to worry about standing still just trying to get a few more hits in. Well, we certainly didn't have a lot of time to line up that shot, now did we? That's one way to make things more challenging as the fight goes on, while still sticking with a very simple pattern. Not sure if I like it more than multi-stage fights, though. While the boss is clearly shifting color as we damage him, I'd have liked something to indicate precisely how many more shots we have to land before we're done here. Good God, man! Just how much more can this thing take? And is it odd of me to think I somehow find that short piano bit in the background soothing when I probably should find it creepy? Well, if you haven't figured out how to avoid getting damaged this far into the fight, I don't know what to tell you. Sure, the increased speed is a little worrying, and the pollen moves in an annoying way, but this fight was decided several shots ago. As a side note, I was kind of expecting the music to shift to something else once we killed the boss. Okay, was kind of expecting to see the super missile upgrade by now. And I'm not sure what I was really expecting when getting on top of that pipe, but I certainly wasn't expecting to drop down like this. Right, that's certainly a major upgrade. I wasn't expecting to get this early in the game. Of course, I was also expecting to leave through the super missile door that was beneath us for that entire boss fight. Not end up in a completely different path that the map room never showed us. Certainly plenty of surprises in a hurry around here, that's for sure. I would have thought the super missile door was enough of a barrier, but that shows what I know. Well, he was certainly in a hurry, but then despite our slow firing rate, we've certainly been getting things done at a pretty fast pace. While I wouldn't go so far as to say we'll be done with this game in no time, it's certainly upping my confidence after the previous Metroid we went through. Seriously, 2 upgrades in less than a minute, and within the same clip when we got a major upgrade that will both open doors and shorten fights for us in the future. I know it's the start of the game, and we've run into a few worrying types of enemies so far, but still, I think I've earned the right to smile and just not worry for a while. Definitely don't have the fastest reflexes. Not sure if that's something that came about because of age or something I've always had to deal with. Suffice to say, I have never been much of a fan of the classic 2D platformers like Sonic and Mario. Anyway, looks like that path will lead to something important, and while I have nothing against finding even more important things, I'd rather find a save point first. We've certainly done more than enough to be worth putting into the proverbial book here. And while I wouldn't say it would be difficult to get it all again if absolutely needed, I'd still rather not deal with that kind of retreading if I can help it. Have we ever run into an orange door before? Part of me wants to say that's a super bomb door, but... I think this is the first Metroid game we've gone through where I felt that the charge beam is actually pretty useful. Okay, no way down to that door from here. And the game's certainly implying that we need to get that ledge grab later on. Maybe I'm misremembering when I thought this game didn't have it. At the very least, I damn well remember that it doesn't have the spider ball like Metroid 2 or its remakes. Is it just me, or did the music cut off for some reason for anyone else there? It's not the first time I've heard a bit of an audio issue in this clip, but it's the sort of thing that happened so quickly I kinda question if I actually heard it or not. Ah well, we're taking the path I was hesitant to go through in the first place. Doesn't seem like we have any chance of making it to a save point in any other direction as far as I can tell. Especially with all the orange doors around here. Well, they're certainly not wasting time throwing a lot of different enemy types at us in this game, that's for sure. I know we're pretty early in the game, but it still feels like we've got more regular enemy variety than Zero Mission or Samus Returns. I could be wrong, though. Not sure what's with the spikes above. It's not like we got the spider ball. The hell? You're kidding me, right? We need the speed booster now? But there's no other path I can see that isn't blocked off! not a single bit of ground there was something we could blow up to open some fresh path. Is there something I missed in one of the earlier rooms? I thought I was doing so well noticing things around here. And apparently there's no way out of this corner of the map from this direction. Oh, this just can't be right. Metroid doesn't trap you like this unless there's a way forward. Hold on, gonna need to check online to see what the hell I've apparently forgotten or misinterpreted here. There is a run button. There is no other Metroid game where there is a run button. Sure, this is an absolute classic that came with an instruction manual, but I think I've gotten far too used to gaming where you don't need an instruction manual. You just feel your way through the game, and the more familiar you are with the genre, the faster you can pick up the various differences between one game and the other, adjusting as needed. I thought playing through 3 Metroid games before getting to this one was prepping me for what would come here. But this is the only game that lets Samus sprint without outright having the speed booster. I would not by any means call this a major issue, especially for first-time players, but it's just thrown me off a lot more than I think it probably should have here. What fresh menace is this? Great! We've got a non-Metroid taking the Metroid's gimmick of latching onto you, sucking you dry, and you needing a bomb to get it off. It is just amazing how much has been happening in under an hour in this game. The previous ones we went through certainly didn't kick things off like this, and while the overall atmosphere is pretty ominous, in execution everything just somehow feels so action-packed. And I find it strange that the game that has much more basic animations, has no counter mechanic, and has a slower firing rate, somehow feels more action-packed to me than the more modern Metroid game with over 40 boss fights spread all over it. I don't think nostalgia is the right word for it. I discovered this game when I was in college, which was over 2 decades after this game was released. It feels like the planet is more dangerous for us. There's just so many different kinds of monsters we're running into here early on than in the more modern Metroids we've done to get to this point in the timeline. While I do, of course, have some minor visual issues like the blasts that come out of our gun, or how it feels like the camera should zoom out a little more, it's still grabbing me pretty damn hard. Just listen to me. I'm typically the person who gripes about even the games I love pointing out things I feel they could have improved. And here I'm saying this game is as close to bloody perfect as possible with the technology available at the time. In the second clip, not only am I creeping myself out here, because this is not how I generally react to games, it's just... yeah, let's just move on here. Well, that's certainly an ominous-looking doorway. And of course, when looking at something ominous in a Metroid game, there's always a ringing background question of when do I get to conquer it? Based on the red bottom of these rocks, I'm going to assume there's going to be some lava somewhere in this area, though maybe I'm just reaching for more detail than there actually is in the backgrounds around here. Right, so another thing that needs us to sprint through. Seriously, one of the few things in this game I don't like so far, and it's a minor mechanical thing. We have a sprint button along with the speed booster later on. It's not even that big of a deal, it's just the first thing I can point to that isn't a technical limitation for a 1994 game that is bothering me here. There we go. If we weren't trapped the last time we had to deal with a sprinting puzzle, this one wasn't gonna block us completely either. For some reason I thought that door would be a save point. Instead, it's a room so hot that we nearly died just walking into it. I guess it wouldn't be a Metroid game if I didn't occasionally just drop on top of an enemy and get damaged by it. You'd at least expect the thing we landed on would be damaged as well, but no, the only way they're getting hurt is if we explicitly shoot at them or happen to use a screw attack. Another energy tank that somehow felt like a gimme. And again, the door locks as soon as we get an upgrade. Yeah. No way we're jumping to that missile upgrade just yet. You're kidding me. Another major upgrade this quickly? This game is very generous at the start, which is making me worried just what we're gonna come up against later on if we're grabbing so much major stuff this early on. I'm crazy, but considering how high we could jump without the high jump boots, it doesn't feel like all that much of an upgrade to me. Still, at least it's getting us back out of this corner so we can keep exploring. I suppose that's something. Not allowed out until we've killed absolutely everything in here. Nice of that critter for speeding things along for us, though. And finally, a save point. Seems as good a point to take a break here as any.